talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions. Behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. I'm talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions. Behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. Emotion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships.
And welcome to Minds in Motion with me, your host, Jewel. As you're coming on, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in on all the platforms. So we have TDN Facebook, TDN YouTube, TDN Twitch, and TDN Instagram. We are live also on radio, on GTM radio, and also on SBE radio tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in on all of those platforms. As you know, I always have really exciting and interesting guests and topics. Last week we had Robert Rawson, and he is a massage therapist. He was talking all about how your body tells you when you're stressed and what you can do to alleviate that stress through massage. Tonight, we have a very sensitive topic. Just wanted to quickly introduce our guest, and then I'm going to do a disclaimer while she's on screen. The guest tonight is Asli Sulieman, and she is a psychotherapist and school social worker. Welcome to Minds in Motion, Asli.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
I'm excited to be here with Jewel.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about signs of sex trafficking and being aware of those signs with your kids, and also being aware of those signs with your students, if there's any educators on the platform or listening tonight or watching tonight. As I said, I wanted to just quickly do a quick disclaimer because this is a very heavy topic, a very sensitive topic, and can be triggering for some viewers and listeners. And if you do feel triggered, or if you feel like you need to take a moment, please do step back, turn off the screen, turn off the volume, and maybe you can also reach out to Asli after to book an appointment with her if you're having some trauma-based emotions that come up. All right. Also, just want to let you know that tonight you can text a message to my text number. That is 1-647-495-3224. All right. So thank you again, Asli, for coming on. Joe, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the questioning, I just wanted to have you quickly kind of just introduce yourself to the viewing audience and listening audience. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So yes, my name is Asli Sulieman, and I'm a social worker with the school boards here in Toronto. And I also run a private practice myself as well as a psychotherapist. I love this work that I do. I love working with children. I also love working with their families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've been in the field for quite some time. But interestingly enough, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, Jewel, I was a teacher before this.
Yes, you did. And I see it come out in some things that you do.
Yeah. So I was a teacher for about 8 years before I transitioned over into social work. I found that oftentimes, like whenever I was working with my class, I always worked at the elementary stages, that I was so just connected with trying to understand their mental health and their emotions and how that works in their education. And I just said, okay, wait, why don't I actually go explore this passion of mine, and that's how I
Okay. Ended
stumbled
up
on social work and doing psychotherapy.
makes sense. And I think that was the best avenue for you to go down, because we
Yes.
need visual representation. We need people that look like us. And as a female, on top of that, to be in the
Mhm.
field to understand the trauma that we as a people tend to
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah.
So thank you again. And so I saw comments. Thank you, Sophia, for letting us know how excited you are for the topic. I think there's oftentimes I have parents and grandparents that come on, and they just want information of how they can support not only their kids but their grandkids as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we see things and we're not sure what to do, or we hear things.
Yeah.
But this platform was created to bring awareness to the communities that are underserved, right?
Yep.
Tonight, as I said, the topic is sex trafficking awareness, especially with school age children. All
Mhm.
right. So I'm just going to get right into the questioning.
Yeah.
Uh, so, from your perspective within the school system,
Mhm.
what does the landscape of sex trafficking actually look like today? And is it different from the kidnapping tropes we see in movies?
Yeah. So, as many of us, the first time we were actually introduced to even the concept of being trafficked was that, what was that movie? Famous movie, Taken? I can't remember the
Taken.
actors, where the dad
Yes.
is like, his daughter went on a trip with her friends and then she was just kidnapped and then she was
Yeah.
trafficked into the trafficking system. And he's
Mhm.
going from like country to country trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, I think the space of trafficking has evolved and changed so much with the new world that we're living in,
Hmm.
right? So right now, trafficking can trafficking can look like the movie Taken, but what we're seeing more at a school board level is
Yeah.
something so like it's very even hard to pick up on, right?
Mhm.
So you see kids with phones as young as what, like I would say the youngest I've seen was grade 3, right? They've been given a cell
Yeah.
phone, they have access to the internet, they have access to
Mhm.
social media, they have access to a world that is bigger and beyond than their parents oftentimes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And trafficking is very quiet. You don't even know it's happening, right?
Mhm.
Unless you have like the flags to pick it up. So
Yeah.
oftentimes in our communities, parents are working, right? They often
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
2, 3 jobs, right?
Right.
So our kids are given a lot of responsibilities. Go to
Mhm.
school, come back,
Mhm.
help your siblings. I see kids walking home at like 10 years old, right? Because mom and dad are working. They're busy.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a single parent household,
Mhm.
right? Or a single guardian household.
Yeah.
And before it was just like kids walking with their friends, but now it's this new phone, this new world, this internet world that they're in.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
one of the ways that we're seeing is relationships are being built online.
Yes.
Relationships with people that you do not know, right? Back when we were growing up, it was, oh, we talk about a friend 2, 3 times, and our parent is like, okay, where's their parent? Where's their mom? Who are
Yes.
they? Let me connect with them, right? So
Yes.
you'll hear kids saying, "Oh, like I've got a friend in Italy, or I've got
Mhm.
a friend in Vancouver, or I've got a friend in
Yeah.
Alberta,"
Yeah.
and we just get on and we play, right?
Right.
And so what these windows have opened for kids is for traffickers to get in and build relationships with children.
Right. Mhm.
Um, and then what it also looks like is oftentimes when we see, the middle school, high school age, we see, younger girls, sometimes male as well, saying that they are in relationships with older people, right? And they are all of a sudden they have a new phone. They've got like bags, and everything is like they feel grown, right? And they're now in this
Yes.
relationship with this person
Yeah.
who's now asking them to do things for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you love me, you're gonna make my friend feel good about himself. So
Mm-hmm.
go be with my friend too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't understand, they might not even be able to put two and two together that this is trafficking,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Yeah.
might think it's like a relationship thing. This is what happens in relationships.
Right. That's interesting. I mean, I think back to some students sometimes when I'm working with them, like a particular student I had in the past, and she, I don't know if she was being sex trafficked, but there were signs of
Mm-hmm.
her just leaving school without permission. She was only 12 at the time. When she'd leave the school, she wouldn't return home because when a phone call is made home, she's not at home. And
Mm,
when you ask her, she speaks of having friends, male friends, older male friends that she's
mm-hmm.
met social media apps as uh, Snapchat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, um, and she's been, comes to school sometimes with gifts, and you don't know where these are coming from.
Yeah.
But it was investigate. I had to encourage the school to investigate,
Okay.
ask more
Yeah.
questions, because it
Yeah.
was just too coincidental that these things were happening. It was like in line with.
Everything that you actually
Yeah.
just highlighted is
Mhm.
exactly, the things that we look for, right?
Mhm.
Is the student just leaving school?
Yeah.
Is there periods of times that we don't know where the student's whereabouts is,
Yeah.
um, and the student coming with gifts,
Mhm.
gifts that are expensive,
Yeah.
right? And in this economy, if they're just pulling up with like a brand new iPhone, you kind of be like, okay,
Have to
that is
question.
fast.
You
Yeah.
want to question. And as parents and guardians, and even grandparents, you need to be very aware of what's coming home with your kids, your grandkids. Are they getting it from their parents? Are they getting it from their friends? And if they are getting it from their friends, we need to have conversations with those parents.
Yeah.
Um, one interesting conversation. Um, yeah, a child came home with an item, and the parent didn't question it. It was a large item. I think I don't want to name what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
this time. And it was a very expensive gift. And we're like, hey, did a parent give this? I'm
Yeah.
frozen. Did the
Yeah.
parent give this gift? And then, you have to do your due diligence to
Due
question
diligence.
these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So we do have some questions that are coming across this, coming in from, I think, YouTube.
How can we
Um,
start this conversation? I think that's what it says.
yeah, let me just put it on the screen. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, is
is
there a
there a
team?
team that tracks these sites? Okay, first let's go back to that. So Snapchat and Facebook, nobody. Yeah.
And this is why. So I didn't put this in my introduction. So I actually have two kids. I have an almost 14-year-old. He's turning 14 in about
Mm.
2 months, and then I have an 11-year-old. And every day they cry because I refuse to give them a phone.
You're
Right?
an amazing mom. I
I
love it.
said no. I said, we're not doing it. And I said, there has to be a lot of steps before I can actually give you this piece of device, right? I need to have these conversations around what is happening in the world and what's happening in these spaces, these social media spaces, before I can just entrust you with a phone, right?
Yeah.
And even when I do give a phone, I plan on doing like, you know, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., taking it away and locking it away in my room, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens is these relationships get built on these online spaces
Yes.
that we cannot control. And Snapchat is like a breeding ground for groomers, simply because chats erase as they come in.
Right.
Okay? They come in and they erase. So
Yeah.
it's not even like something that you can have on your phone that you could look back on or read. And, you know, if there's any red flags, you can kind of be like, whoa, 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 who's this person and why is this person speaking to you? Right?
Right.
And and the interesting thing is groomers are not directly grooming anymore. Groomers are implementing themselves in friend groups.
Yes.
Right? So there and a lot of the times what we're seeing is that groomers are actually within our communities.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well,
implemented within our communities.
interesting. This is similar to, I had a guest on who was groomed when she was younger, in not sex trafficking per se, but into sexual grooming where that person took advantage of her, and she it was someone she knew. It was a family friend, right? So they
Yeah.
often say it's someone that is very close to you, your neighbor,
Yeah.
your family member, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
someone that's very
And
close.
and what happens is, so what usually, like, so a scenario that happened was that they befriended someone who was very freely online. Right.
Mhm.
Parents were separated. They've developed this relationship online with this older man. This older man now, you know, is telling her how much he loves her, and he's started the grooming process with her.
Yeah.
Right. And then what happens is, oh, introduce me to your friends.
Mhm.
Right. And when the introductions of friends become now their friends, and oh, this is so and so's boyfriend, we
Mm.
trust him. So and
Mhm.
so's boyfriend is going to take us to the movies.
Right.
So and so's boyfriend now has a car that can take them to the mall and
Yeah.
gives them money. Right. And it's so hard. I see a question here.
Yeah. How
Samantha
can,
says,
yeah, oh, bring it up
oh,
on this.
we'll go by
No, no,
one.
yeah.
Because it's
No,
kind of
we can
similar,
we
the
can
same question. Like,
so
how
how we
can,
can start the conversation. Let's take this one. How can we start this conversation with the young people that are oftentimes so closed off and don't want to have anything to do with their parents or adults in their lives? How do we start these conversations?
that's the thing. We have to start with our relationships,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
We can't just swoop in and, you know, when we feel that, like, okay, something is wrong, I'm not like, I'm seeing something now, I'm going to swoop in.
Mhm.
It's the relationship has to be there prior,
Yeah.
right? Um, and I remember I remember being young and, you know, rolling my eyes at things that my parents told me and,
Yeah.
you know, whatnot. But I think it was funny because my two parents, it was very different. With my dad, I did a whole lot of role island because there
Mhm.
wasn't that much connection. But with my
Mhm.
mom, there was a lot of like, she began opening up about herself and her experiences, which kind of
Yes.
made me feel like, oh, okay, like we can talk about these things together,
Right.
right?
Right.
So one of the things is, as parents, we try to put up this perfect persona that we're
Mm.
perfect humans, and when we come in with our perfect answers and our perfect way of being, that block is there because it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, you're a parent, you're perfect, right? But when you have raw, open conversations about your experiences,
Yeah.
whatever it is, it creates that relationship, right? And that's
Right.
kind of when you can come in and, you know, talk about, hey, this is what's happening, right?
Yeah.
I've had a friend that this happened to, or I saw this, or what do you think about this? And I think avoiding lecturing, but more
Mhm.
conversation. Ask
Conversation. Yeah.
a lot of questions,
Yeah.
right? Um, like I remember I started talking to my kids about substance abuse and internet safety when they were like 4, 4 or
Wow.
5.
Wow. I mean,
But
it was never too young. Never too young.
I
Yeah.
gave them in like little pieces that they can
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like a one-time conversation. It
Yeah.
was like a constant brought up over dinner conversation, right?
Okay.
Hey, when your friends peer pressures, this is what it's called. This is the words that we use, peer pressure. When your friends are peer pressuring you to, because now my son is at the age where, vapes and marijuana and all of that is around him, right? But
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
like he's been talking about it or
For a
knows the
very long
side
time.
effects for the last 10 years.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, I never thought of it. I said, wow, because I've never really thought of that. I mean, we tell our children to say stranger danger, to be aware of strangers, and that's such like, and sometimes we don't go into detail. And this is why we're having a lot of the sex trafficking happening, because we're just saying stranger danger. It's not someone that you know.
We're not talking about it.
We're not talking. We're not
We're
going
not
into depth.
we're not going into depths,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We need to go into depths, right? I love coming home and telling my kids stories of things that I've seen or heard, and then I ask them questions like, how would you analyze this? What do you think about this? How is that happening? Or and then it gives them space to kind of also come up with their own thinking and their own thought process, like helping them build that.
Right.
They also use the co-op.
Not sure what that means. Is it
Yeah.
called like placements?
Yeah. I think so.
So they go and say they're going to co-op placements. Is that what maybe that's what it means?
I could see that happening. Remember, I said it happens in your own circle, in your own
That's
space.
right.
Right?
Yeah. And Samantha was saying something. Let's see what Samantha was saying. It's a long statement here, but let's put that up. Okay. I currently work with kids, youth, and notice a lot of girls talking to older men. What is the best way to address this with the girls without them dismissing my concern for them? Yeah.
So, a couple of different things there, right? They will probably initially dismiss your concerns, right? Especially if they are in that infatuated love space, love bomb space, right? And what I always say is, and I'm very open with my students as well. I always say, I think this is what it is, right? I call it out. I call it exactly what it is. I say, I can't prove it and I don't know, but I'm worried that you could possibly be falling into like a sex trafficking situation. And just me saying those words is a bit like jarring for them.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, why would you think that? Or, why is that happening? And then I would just be like, well, this is what I've been taught. This is what I know about sex trafficking. And you are ticking 4 of the 5 boxes. Now, you may think, I'm crazy or I'm just, being too much. And that's fine. I hope I am. Yeah. However, I want you to know that if I'm not, and, you find yourself in a situation that is scary or uncomfortable, that I understand this and I'm here to help you. Just reach out, right? And then I would just so that they know they have a safe space, right? I remember one time we got these, I don't know where we got them. Well, I don't think they give us anymore. They gave us these little numbers and they were like on combs. So it was like for police.
Okay.
It was like a number and it was like hidden in the combs.
Oh.
So I used to give it out to whomever I thought was like I was worried about. I would just give it out.
Give them out. Interesting. So that would be like a kids help phone or 888 kind of number that they can contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question here. I have a question. There's more in the back coming in, but I have my own questions as well. So now that we know there is a certain population, or I'm assuming there's a certain population, um, do you think there's a specific population that circumstances happen to the young people are maybe more susceptible if they're
Yeah.
in middle school or maybe the younger teens or high school? Like, what is your perception about that?
I don't think it's age. They know their, like, a lot of the groomers know their population.
Mhm.
They go for underprivileged communities. They know, they go for communities where there's, predominantly single parent household or single caregiver household. They go for communities where, um, families are just they're just trying to make it, in this economy, in this space, in this world right now. They're just trying to go through it. So it's predominantly those spaces. I
Yeah.
am I do have to, however, say, there is also they do it depends on. So a lot of the work that I do is in the underprivileged communities,
Mhm.
my communities, our communities, and there is grooming happening, but not to the degree like in other communities, more predominant communities, but it doesn't happen to the level that it's happening in our communities, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I do have to say their target are, children whose parents are very busy. And as the like, as times move on, I remember my mom back in the 90s, not to age myself, like in the 90s, like she was able to be a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yeah.
But now you need two parent income households,
Yeah.
right? So parents are constantly working, or parents are separated, and the child is just themselves. So they go for children that are practically raising themselves or on their own,
Learners. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Hmm. Similar to the first show that I've had, the first episode that I ever had with the founder of Find Ontario Missing Boys. The trafficking was happening. They don't want to call it trafficking, but it's happening with boys as well, where they're taking the young men to
Yes.
do criminal activities. So the
Yes.
groups are very similar. They're giving them things that are luxury items. They're selling them dreams
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
things that they think that these boys would want.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same. And boys are also being sex trafficked.
They are being sex
Just
trafficked. And I
girls.
think with difference with females, it's not only material stuff. I feel like it's predominantly the males that, the material stuff is.
Yeah.
With the females, it's emotions and
Emotion. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Say if the student is coming from, like, um parents who are divorced, and
Mm-hmm.
both parents are working, and there isn't just that connection, like not able to make friends at school, not able to make friends, that is a target person for the groomer,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Kind of telling them, I love you, I care about you, I'm here for you. Those are the things that pull them in. So then it becomes, I love you, so you need to do this for me,
Right.
right? And because they've never gotten an experience of what an actual relationship looks like, or what a healthy relationship is,
Should be
in
like,
their
yeah.
minds, it's like, this person loves me and I need them to continue to love me, because when they say they love me, it feels really good. So I need to do whatever it is that I want them to do.
Yeah. Hmm. Wow. Um, Sophia, thank you. As a mom that has four children and have to leave them with a caregiver most of their childhood, and now can't even recognize them, how can I try to build that relationship without being a stranger?
Oof. That's a tough one. As a working mom myself too, it's hard, right?
Mm.
And and I think I can't. I don't know the realities of your situation, but sometimes as moms, we're also very hard on ourselves too, right? So I want to hold space for you. I would say, um, you know, one of the things that I did that helps me a lot is eating together at least once one meal, right? Even if it's once or twice a week, but just
Mhm.
having a meal together. Because when you break bread and you sit together, conversation starts, right?
Right.
As conversation starts, you start building that relationship, right? And I think in the beginning, especially if your kids are older, one of this is what I'm struggling with too. So I'll share some advice
Mhm.
is asking questions and not jumping to solution or fixing the situation, just listening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's so hard as a parent because right away you're like, well, that's why would you do that, or why did that happen, or and then we get into that whole lecturing, and then the door
Mhm.
is open. So it's just listening, right?
Huh.
Or just even
Yeah.
saying like, hey, how are you? There are times where I was like, oh, close your mouth, don't say anything, and then I'll come to my room and tell my husband, okay, this is what was shared with me, what do we do with this? Like,
Yeah, sometimes not even responding in the moment and just like reflecting. And I'm glad that you're able to go to your husband and have that conversation.
yeah.
Yes, it is a good practice to have, and that's a great communication skill to adopt with your
Yeah.
children, especially this day and age where the slightest thing that we could say could like trigger all types of emotions, and it could have them go into a shell and not
Mhm.
want to share information with us ever again or for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is key, take in the information, listen to what's being said. Don't feel the urgency to want to reply right away. And
Yeah.
even if you have to make mental notes of,
Yeah. I go
hold
and I
on,
sit.
let me come back, or make a note in your phone, something, you
Yeah.
know, to
Yeah.
address it.
I sit with situations sometimes and I'll just be like, okay. And if it's something that I was like, I'm worried about, I usually wait and then go back and be like, you shared that with me. I didn't want you to think that I'm, just shutting you down or being judgmental or whatever it is, but that didn't sit well with me, right? I didn't like what your friend said or what happened, right?
Mhm.
But I can we talk? Can I ask more questions about that? Can you tell me more about it? Where it
Yeah,
creates a little bit more space of conversation, right?
yeah. Hmm. I have questions, but I'm thinking of my wheels are turning as you're speaking. But
Yeah.
I want to say that I just saw my mom actually comment, and I wanted to say so. This is I'm gonna put up her comment. This is my mama. It's harder as a
Ah,
single mother. So as a single mother, yes, it is harder.
yes, it is.
I know what my mom went through as a single mom to raising one girl child, but also raising a few male, like three male children, and all different personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always remember if my mom said no,
Mm,
there it was often followed by an explanation. There was
yes.
always an explanation as to why I couldn't or
Yes.
why whatever. And you spoke about your relationship with your mother being an open relationship where you can have that dialogue and talk about pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of conversations, that's the kind of relationship I had with my mom, and I still have to this day. She's my
Yeah.
bestie, and
Hey.
so it's good to have that dialogue with your parent, whether it's your father or your mother. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, especially male, female relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
have that relationship with your mom. But yeah, so just wanted to share that, but also wanted to say that we were never allowed to sleep over at our friends' homes. It was a no-no.
And my kids are not till this day.
Yeah.
In fact, what I used to do is when my kids have like friends and they're going over for the first time,
Yeah.
I used to go with them and sit in that living room with them.
And observe the parents.
I
Take
would just,
note.
stake out the
Yes.
space, and if
Yeah.
I felt like, so I remember my daughter had a friend and we went over one time and I kind of staked out the space and I didn't like it because there was too many family members moving in that space. There was an uncle, there was another uncle, granddad, an auntie, and it was a shared like multi-generational home. And
Yeah.
I said, that's too much for me. There's too many moving pieces, too many moving people here. So in that going on, I said, it's going to be at my place if we're going
Mhm.
anywhere, or we're going to go to the movies, or we're going
That's
to go
what it
here,
was for me. It was
right?
like, you know what, you want to sleep over? Tell your friends to come to our house.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
like that. You know what? Sleep over? Yes, at my house.
I
Fine.
said,
I feel
no, I
comfortable.
said,
I feel safe.
there's too many people
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have enough time to get to know everyone or even assess everyone. So I said, we're not doing
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
right? So I think that was a lot of the things. But I want to share something about what your mom said. It's harder as a single mother. It's
So,
so true, right?
yeah. Yeah.
You were gonna say?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, oftentimes as mothers, we think our kids have, because we're so hard on ourselves, we think our kids are looking at us in that same lens,
Mm,
right? Like the other day, I said something around, I was like, oh, I just work too much and I just feel like I'm not doing enough for you guys. Like I'm not doing enough because we're just, I want you to do this. I want to put you in this program. I just don't know
mhm.
how it's gonna all fit into my schedule. And I was just kind of like upset. And then my son looked at me and he said, Mom, you do so much and you work so hard.
Yeah.
Like, how could you even think that, you're failing us?
Yeah. And
Right?
that's good. That reassurance and that affirmation from your son probably meant the world to you, because at least he's
Exactly.
recognizing that you are putting yourself out there. You're doing as much as you can with what you have,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
acknowledging that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our kids see us. So going back to
Yeah.
Sophia's question earlier was, no, they see you. They see all the work that you're doing, right? And then they're developing that. So you may feel like, okay, that connection is no longer there,
Yeah.
but that appreciation and that connection of like, wow, mom does so much for us. She works so much and she's there for us.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is the in-betweens, right? The in-betweens of the works of checking in, I love yous, the tap on the head, I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Just constantly being a presence.
Hmm. Thank you for clarifying that and for affirming our viewers. Thank you. Um, The red flags. What are some subtle behavioral shifts that teachers or parents should look for that might indicate that our students or children are being exploited?
Okay. So two categories.
Mhm,
The first one is the beginning stages,
mhm,
where the child is coming in all excited to talk about a new boyfriend or they've got this and they're very secretive, but they're trying to constantly like being on their phone to check the message. I know all the teenagers are constantly on their phone, but being very secretive with their phone,
yeah,
right? Answering all times of like the school timings of just constantly messaging or and the changes in demeanor of like excitement, talking about a special person but being very elusive of not sharing, right?
mhm,
When So our middle schools that we work with, when
yeah,
they're in relationships with boys that are their age, they're gonna name drop
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
nobody. Oh, so
Mhm,
and so is with so and so, and so and so is with that, and it's
yeah,
kind of like that's like, oh, okay. But when there's no name dropping, very elusive, very secretive, but there's someone there and that person's not there, that
yeah.
is a red flag.
Okay.
The other Another thing is they start coming in with whole new outfits. Girls start dressing a little bit more provocative,
Mhm.
right? Because they're being told, oh, I want you to dress this way, right?
Mhm.
Taking pictures in certain like ways of like in the bathrooms or taking certain we won't be able to see their phones, but sometimes we do see our students taking pictures in very like provocative ways and posting that, right? Because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
told to post it, right?
Yeah.
Because the grooming is not only, it's also happening on social media where they're sending their pictures out to possible John Does, right?
Right. Right.
um and yeah, so the change of clothing, the change of demeanor, and then when things have gotten, hopefully like we can catch it in that time frame, but when it's not caught in that time frame, the other time frame is when things have gotten out of hand, right?
Mhm.
Where they have now been trafficked and they are exhausted because remember, trafficking is not taken and being put all over, it's being picked up, trafficked, being with a John Doe back to back
Mhm.
until 7 p.m. because 8 p.m. her parents finish their shift and they need to
Right.
drop them off at home, right?
Yeah.
So that exhaustion, that drain, that, just almost like their souls have left their bodies,
Right.
right?
Right.
And quick to anger, quick to emotions, very blocked off, very closed off. Um,
Mhm.
and just, yeah, those are like the red flags when
Hmm.
things have gotten really bad.
Yeah. Interesting. Um, this conversation again is a very heavy conversation. For those of you who may feel triggered or be triggered by the conversation, please, by all means, step away from the screen, turn off the volume. And if you do need someone to follow up with, Asli Sulieman is a psychotherapist. She will be sharing her information at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to all the viewers that are tuning in on all the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and all the comments coming in. Thank you so much for those viewers,
Yeah.
right? And the radios that we're being broadcasting on as well. Um, I knew that it would be a very interesting and hot topic, because it's something that is it's near and dear to our hearts. Like, we work with children. We were all children at one point, and more than likely have experienced something. I know when I was growing up, I was approached by older guys sometimes, but I knew to turn it down, shut it down, and that is just, I don't remember if ever having a conversation with my mom about that, but I know when I had older brothers, so I was like, no, you're my brother's age. Like, how could you even think to talk to me? And then as I grew older, it was even older men. And I would say, you can be my grandfather or you can be my father. What's wrong with you? You know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
sometimes girls are not able to say no. And they are enticed by the nice car and the older gentleman that has the jewelry or whatever it is. And that's when they're easy targets for
Yeah.
grooming,
And it's
right?
not only they want the nice things, it's someone is giving them attention,
Attention. Yeah,
right?
that
Someone's
attention.
giving them attention. And also the other piece is sometimes girls in the school, boys in their classes are like, oh, this one's beautiful and this one's not, and right, the kind of hitting on the emotions of the young girls and the self-esteem, right?
Yes.
So if there's girls who are, maybe parents are present, parents are working, but that self-esteem piece is
Yeah.
so low that
Mhm.
anyone who comes her way and finally says you're beautiful, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna give myself to you because you see me as beautiful,
Mhm.
right? And I had a lot of like so many students where I've dealt with, they say, no one thinks I'm beautiful. Like I want to have a boyfriend as well. Like all my friends have boyfriends. No one's giving me any attention.
Yeah.
Right? And then in comes Mr. Groomer,
Hmm.
and
Right.
she's
And sometimes those groomers may not be older guys. It could be
yeah,
someone that is younger who's recruiting for older people or recruiting for a string of traffickers, right?
yep, yep.
Um, and how does that complicate the school's response? If oftentimes students, okay, so the question is the role of peer networks. So we're the role of peer networks. Do you or have you ever seen peer recruiters, students within the school that are recruiting girls or boys to get into sex trafficking? Have you experienced that?
Um, I haven't, but if it were happening, that would be very hard to track,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have seen interesting connections where I've questioned, right? Like, why are you, who almost every girl,
Yeah.
building wants to be with, or is talking to every girl, also talking to these girls as well,
Mm-hmm.
who are more
Mm-hmm.
quiet and who are not, the type of girls that you're going for already.
Yeah.
Like, right? And then the question begins like, okay, wait, why? Right? But sometimes, and it's very hard to pinpoint because sometimes it's, especially if they're in that middle school, high school age, they are in that sexual exploration stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
might not be, to groom, it just might be, okay, maybe I can explore things with her, or I can convince this girl to do things for me
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they picked on the low self-esteem.
Yes. And I'm witness to this. I've had many students that have experienced that,
Yeah.
exactly that. There's a comment in the back here. We also have to watch and pay attention to our boys as much as our girls. My youngest son and I would not let out of my sight until he got to ninth grade. Also told, if anyone dares him to do anything, tell them to do it first and walk away. Yes, and to make good decisions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Boys,
So
sometimes boys are, it's harder with boys, right? Because they won't talk about experiences that they have, right?
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
glad dad spoke up for him
yep, yep,
and to,
yep. And we don't, a lot of the fixation is on girls being sexually abused or
yeah,
exploited, but boys are very much in that category, especially the younger ages,
yeah.
right? And it's just, and I think through like one of the back chats, I saw something around like video games, right?
Mhm,
So for maybe girls, it's through social media and Snapchats,
mhm.
but for boys, it's through the video games,
Right.
right? Um, I bought a PS5 for the first time a couple of months ago. I finally caved in because he's like, I gotta do it. But I have like all the apps on my phone. It's in the living room. It has to be on full, no headphones because I need to hear who
Yeah.
you're talking to, right? So it's we live in a scary world. We live in a
Absolutely.
very scary world where, and then this is where like my thoughts on capitalism has taken me. The
Mhm.
capitalist system has required us to have all the parents out of the home, right?
Yes.
Because back in the day, it was believed it took a village, right? Grandma was around the corner, grandpa was right there.
Yeah.
Mom can choose to work or not work,
Yeah.
right? Dad was the breadwinner. There was always parents and adults watching the
Right.
kids.
Right.
Now everyone is out hustling 2 to 3 jobs, and the
Mhm.
kids are left
To their
to
own
be on their own.
demise. and parentify themselves, right?
Right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna ask a few questions that are that I wanted to add. Like this conversation could go on for hours and hours, but I
Oh,
know we
yeah.
don't have limited time to cover things. Um, what is the biggest myth about sex trafficking that you wish you can debunk once and for all? Is there a biggest myth?
That you will know it's happening.
Mm,
Yeah. That you will know it's happening. Right? I think when we were doing the trainings and all of this, the the most shocking thing, because when I thought of sex trafficking, I thought of the movie Taken. I thought
yeah,
of, but when they were saying, kids are being pulled out in their lunch hour
yeah,
to go meet a John Doe and then being brought back.
yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, I took my kid to school. I
yeah,
packed his lunch.
yes,
He's gonna come home at 4 or 3:30. Nothing happened. Like I can't even comprehend how my
yeah,
child went to go see a John Doe
yeah,
in that time frame, right? Or
yeah,
how my child even ended up seeing a John Doe, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and it's just like I think that is the biggest myth is that you're going to know, right? And this is why relationships with our children is very, very important,
yeah,
right? Asking questions. Um, I go through their bags till this I go
mhm,
through their lunch bags, I go through their pockets,
yeah,
just there. Like I clean their jackets. I look in their pockets just to see if there's anything different there because we live in a world where you think you know, but your child is living in an entirely different world because of this device here.
mhm, mhm. So you hear that, parents? You are still their primary caregiver. They live under your roof. They're still minors. You need to go through their things. You have
Yes.
all rights to, and you should want to go through their things to see what's happening, um, especially when they're coming in. The day and age that we're in now, kids are coming into the home. They may mumble a good afternoon or hello, hi mom, hi dad, and then they're gone straight to their rooms. The
Mhm.
door closes, and you don't know what's happening behind that door
Yeah.
for hours until you say dinner time or come down to get something to eat, and then they're gone back to their room.
Mhm.
So I empower you. We empower you
Yes.
to go through your kids' things or have some type of dialogue. Open the lines of communication to have those very sensitive conversations that we're having
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
right? Don't wait until you see the signs. You don't have to wait. Like I was going to call you Miss Asli because I do that when I see in our environment. Asli was saying that she had conversations of drugs with her kids from an early age.
From 4. They were
4 years
4.
old. 4 years old.
I was talking about what substance abuse means, right? We talk about trafficking. We talk about relationships. We talk about when I give them phones one day, what that's
One
going to look
day.
like.
One day.
Right?
Um,
Create the boundaries. You have to create the boundaries.
yeah.
You have to let them know I am the parent here, right? If I am going to give you this device, I need to have a level of
Yeah.
control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm going to give you this opportunity now to talk about your private practice. Just let us know how we can get in contact with you. I'm
Yeah.
going to be like wrapping up the show because we have this weekend interview right after this show. Don't jump off. There's another great episode of another show to tune into. So tell us, Asli
Yeah.
Sulieman, how we
Yeah.
can get in contact with you for your private practice.
So my private practice is actually called Mulki and Ampara Psychotherapy. I wish I can post the website here somewhere, but I'll give it to Jewel to post.
Yeah.
And yeah, and reach out to me. You can look at our website. Is there anywhere I can post this under?
So you can right now, no, I don't think you could do it live right now. But I will just give me the information and I will repost. So when I'm reposting an episode, clips of the episode, I will post your information there, so people can access
Yeah.
us private practice. And this show is all about awareness, but it's also promoting
Yes.
our people, so our African and Caribbean diaspora communities. If you have a business, I'm here to offer you a free platform to do that. Okay. So anyone you want to shout out? You want to say?
Oh, I see Denise is in the
Yes.
building. Hey.
Right, let me put her comment up there. Hello, Denise. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just going to fly up some comments here. So thank you again for tuning in to Minds in Motion, where you get real talk, real strategies for real situations. I'm always freezing. I'm probably sure you just saw that. Thank you so much for tuning in. And any last words?
Thank you for having me. I was nervous to come on, but I'm so excited. The conversation is always a great conversation with you, Jewel.
All right. Take care. I'm going to say signing off until next week. Thank you so much, Asli, for coming on and blessing us with your knowledge. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions, behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about life and all the confusion. Minds in motion. Minds in motion. Talk about relationships. I'm talking Joe podcast, minds in motion. Talk about relationships, help your emotions, behavior management when your kids start to losing it. Talk about